Lordy, Lord, here's all you got to do. Well, hey now, chug, chug, chug a love. If you wanna push and it's all chug, chug, chug a love, chug a love, y'all. Hey, Lord, make you wanna push, hey, love. Come on, it's not hard to find a groove in this song. Everybody get together, all time to sing along. Yeah, chug a love, chug a love, chug a love. Yeah, chug a love, chug
Folks, welcome inside the Parisi Palace, high above 3773 East Broadway. This is a live edition of the Jake Feinberg Show. Coming to you on Power Talk. Please go to our website, powertalk.live. Download our free app to your smartphone and stream all of our live local programming, including Solomon on Blast, the Jim Parisi Show, and yours truly, the Jake Feinberg Show. Can't thank you enough for making us part of your day today, and without further ado, it has been continually a cathartic experience for me to connect with my peer group, musicians who are looking to expand the vocabulary of music that they learned from their fathers and forefathers, and then are able to spread that to people like my daughters and future generations for their understanding of how real music is made. And my guest today has been doing that on the bandstand with his family for a number of years, and still really searching for his own individual sound, as everybody is for their entire career, searching for the sound. Ian Neville, welcome to the Jake Feinberg Show.
Yeah, you're right. Thanks, Jake. Thanks for having me.
My first question is, if you could just talk a little bit about how you developed your own internal time feel on your apparatus. Like, was it to records, or was it essentially just playing with your family?
I guess I've always, like, when I was really small, I started playing drums first when I was like 3, 4, something like that. So I've always been like heavily rhythm oriented. And then when around like 4th grade is when I picked up guitar and like kind of started translating some of that vibe to guitar playing. And just from being around, first of all, my family, second, like New Orleans, just like you can hear the marching bands warming up from my backyard, you know, when it's that time of year when I was a kid. To then once I started getting to like gig and whatnot with my family, I was like super spoiled where the primary drummer I got to play with was Russell Baptiste Jr., who's one of the baddest that ever did it. That was a good, always a lesson that I was super fortunate to have at an early time in like developing, learning how to play and whatnot. Yeah.
Could you talk a little bit? I mean, you weren't playing hand drums. I mean, can you talk about how early you developed? I mean, not that that's not your primary instrument now, but I mean, were you playing with 4-way coordination, like, because using your feet, or were you just playing the top of the kit? I'm curious, just because I'm far from a professional musician, but I've been playing like the top of the kit for a long time, and I just recently got like I started using my feet, and I'm like, wow, this is really intense, because sometimes one foot is stronger than the other on the beat. I'm just curious about how you got that all 4-way coordination on the drum kit, and
I mean, I was never like gonna make a gig on drums, but some stuff I can duplicate listening to it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Sitting down and like grooving on something, which is just always good to be able to have that connection to whatever you're trying to write or learn or play or whatever it is, you know. It's like sometimes it's like knowing the other parts that the other. I like knowing the guitar and the bass of certain stuff if I have to shed some particular things to learn, or just for whatever reason. It's like it makes the other part make more sense if you know the complementary instrument sometimes.
Absolutely. I mean, the late great John Abercrombie told me. He said, he goes, if you don't have good rhythm, you might get one gig, but you're not going to get called back. You need, and then especially with that New Orleans, that gumbo down there. I mean, how early were you playing professionally on the bandstand?
I started, I had a band in like 5th, 6th grade that we had some little, you could maybe call them gigs, You
got paid? If you got paid, it's a gig.
We did get a little bit, paid. Yeah. So, we had more band names than gigs, I think. But that was just how we were rolling back then. But as far as real, first time I played at the fairgrounds at Jazz Fest, I was 13.
What was the band? What was the configuration of that band?
That was with the Funky Meters. Which was my dad, George Porter Jr., Brian Stoltz, and Russell Batiste Jr.
Wow, that is. I'm always curious about could you talk to the audience about early on a learning experience you had on the bandstand? It could have been nonverbal when you thought maybe you had it together, but you really didn't, and how you overcame that, and how it made you a stronger player and a person.
That getting to play with that band was great. A lot of lessons in a lot of variety of ways, but one thing for just straight up hanging with different musicians wise, making gigs, was that band never had a set list. And if they did, it would quickly turn into when they go off the rails of the set list, my dad would take it and ball it up and pull the pin with his teeth and throw it at our boy who's the monitor cat all the time. It was just the set list was turned into the hand grenade, gone. But basically there's no list, and they would play for damn near 2.5 hours straight, basically just weaving in and out of songs. Some depending on who the son George would take a solo, drum solo here, some stuff like that to break it up a little bit. But just being able to hang with no roadmap was a crucial lesson that is a very good skill to have.
Can you talk to younger cats about that? There's a lot. I don't want to paint with a broad brush, but that lack of roadmap. What kind of multisensory things what did you have to really hone in on for you to? Because a lot of cats get real insecure. Like your dad is obviously from back in the game. I mean, he's throwing the grenade out there and it's over, and everyone's just laughing and having a ball. But today, I mean, I hate genres, but I just feel like in some ways so much of the music I see it's a formula trip, and it drives me a little bit nuts. And that organic, spontaneous creation that is required in that setting, I just want you to talk about how to loosen up naturally to people out there who are insecure if you make a right turn and when you're supposed to make a left turn.
Well, what I learned you learn how to pay attention in a variety of different ways, basically. First, you're listening. You know what the hell you're playing. You're listening to what other people are playing. Those kind of little dynamics of just how to listen. And don't be scared to lay out. If that, sometimes the lack of something in a moment is what makes, when it comes back in, all the much bigger and all that kind of idea. And then that's the like attention span as far as music goes, and then just like knowing who you're playing with and being, if it's usually, you know, some friends you're playing with, unless it's rare circumstance you like are playing with a bunch of strangers, but you're still trying to figure out how to read people on the fly while you're listening and get a vibe of how to keep the train on the tracks.
I love that line. I mean, you know, can you talk a little bit about, I mean, some would say that, you know, I mean, you're the son of Art Neville, and some would say, boy, you couldn't ask for a better teacher. But was your dad more the idea of saying, Ian, go out and figure this out on your own? And was he, I mean, how did he mentor you musically?
Like direct music wise, there was a couple scenarios of some like piano stuff that I wanted to learn that he would be like, oh yeah, bam, show me right quick, and it'd take me a minute to digest it and deal with it, you know. But he was just always like stressed to practice first of all, and listen to a variety of different stuff. Like, don't be scared to draw influence from any and everything. And then kind of what I tipped on a second ago of just like less is more sometimes, and you really hear that in some of his parts of some of that old meter stuff, and it fits so perfect with the whole unit of the song that the any more would have seemed like off and broken. It like makes those words make sense, some of his parts.
Absolutely. I mean, would he tell you, Ian, go play on the street, just play get on the band. I mean, most cats don't have the experiential opportunities on the bandstand. And I'm just curious about, like, you know, if he tried to say, how did he get the training wheels off? I mean, you had this incredible father luminary, but I have a feeling he had a very unorthodox way of, or maybe he didn't, but how did he push you out? What was the most like sort of inspirational lesson that you received from your father?
Let me think exactly on that answer. But
hey, we can come back to that. If it comes back, you can think about that if you want. We can. Yeah.
But one funny early on moment was my birthday. I was like maybe 15, 16 maybe. No, you know what? I might have been like 14. I forget. Anyway, I was sitting in with the Funky Meters at House of Blues in New Orleans, and it was like, oh wait, you know what? My dad, you know, he's talking to the mic. He's like, oh wait, I forgot. Wait a minute, did we get that thing? Did we, whatever the spiel was? And then he's like, wait a minute. And he walks over. He like had a pair of wire cutters over by his keyboard world, and he walks over. I was playing Brian's guitar at the time, and he like clipped all the strings off of the guitar. We're like standing on stage in the middle of the gig, right? He clips all the strings off and is like, oh yeah, that's right. Maybe you want to play this one. And he had like got me a guitar for my birthday.
Oh.
It's dope. It's got Paul Newman. Paul, what's that his name? Newman was his last name. This guitar maker guy out of Austin. But yeah, that was just kind of a funny, notable, strange, surreal moment. You know,
it was like a Zen master kind of. Well, it's like, you know, we're just going to cut this up and we'll give you a new apparatus.
Yeah. There wasn't like a exact moment of like, here's your lesson moment, but it was just like through him I always got to be in just super random scenarios that were as a whole built up to, you build the whole wall that turns into the whole lesson or whatever, you know.
Talking to Ian Neville here on the Jake Feinberg Show. Yeah, I take this. You can just riff on this any way you want, but I mean, what you're talking about with your dad is less is more. The space in the music, the silence is the music, and then ultimately, just don't wank it up there, And how do you, how do you like, because if like the less is more mentality, I'm just asking you to explain to peeps out there that are listening. When you are trying to be concise in your solo and not wanking it, how can you continually grow and expand your own sound if you're not going off on 20-minute solos? A lot of people don't want to hear the 20-minute solos, but if you're just playing like real tight, how do you get off on that with the less is more mentality?
Well, the less is more. When I was saying that, I was applying that more to when your part is a part of a few parts that build the song. When it's soloing wise, like I'll be the first to say I'm not the first call when you want somebody to just shred all over your gig.
No, I don't want that either, though. I don't want to wank fest. Give me a break, dude.
But yeah, man, it's like I don't know. I try to just be like tasteful and not regurgitate so much already played like stuff somebody might go to just out of habit or
Absolutely.
something.
No, I dig, man. I dig it.
While being tasteful and keep it fresh for me and whoever's listening, and trying to push myself to a degree always, ideally, and finding some balance in all that. I don't know.
There used to be a prolific jazz circuit in this country. Cats would go across the country and then fly out to Japan, but they'd be playing all these cities. Art Blakey, they'd tie the drums to the top of the car. And there are, but the paradigm has changed a lot. And with any of the bands that you're in, it's a twofold question. What kind of touring circuits do you enjoy the most? And have you ever really been hung up with labels before? Because I just looking at sometimes I see you maybe in the jam band scene or maybe in this scene, but I mean it's to me it's a vibe and a feel. And I just feel like genres have really stifled musical vocabulary. So what are the tours you enjoy going on, and talk? Are you from the Duke Ellington school of it's all music?
I mean, touring wise, I like switching up where we get to go and travel to, because it's better for the shows that people get in certain areas. Like, we don't like coming through an area too many times too fast, because it's just like, why would you do that? And just to switch up our travel, it's more fun for us. Like lately, we've been had a pretty good balance lately. Like last summer, we were in pretty much France and like 2 gigs in Spain.
Wow.
And then we came back and hit some of our regular States gigs, and then it's been a decent balance to not oversaturate anywhere. And then earlier this year, we were back down in Australia at Byron Bay Festival, so we got to do some. We did Jam Cruise, which is a nice random fun hang for us. That's not a normal circuit kind of gig, and then we did some normal state stuff, then got to go to Australia, then came back for Jazz Fest. So it's kind of a slight routine on some of the gigs. Like Jazz Fest is total routine for us, because it's like being on tour, but I sleep in my own bed.
Right. I mean, yeah, you're doing that since you were 13, right?
And revolve around certain things like that. And it's about the balance of getting to go new places, ideally, more than not. And then we definitely have the places that we do enjoy coming back through like once or twice a year. And it seems to be a good, like, when the balance is fun for the audience and the amount of times that we're through there, like for eating the same stuff in whatever town it is.
I love this. You're focusing on. This is classic. It's all culture. No, but I mean,
it's everything.
It is. It's cool, and it's cool to hear you say that. But I mean, more to the point, like, what is the health? I mean, if you can step back, you're talking about your music is being consumed overseas. I mean, yeah, you have places here, but I mean, what's the health of the touring circuit in this country right now?
I mean, we have our stronger markets that we go to, you know, and it's not like a radius from New Orleans thing. It's more of a random market that we do better in. So you can make whatever kind of sense out of that you want.
I don't know what to make of that. I'm just like, I mean, are there places that you would like to go, but like flyover towns, or to me, it's like, you know, there's just like Tucson's a great example. We're like the lonely stepchild. We're not on Route 66. We get bypassed a lot. And yet I found my voice here, and I've interviewed all the cats in Tucson, and it's just,
right.
And I just sort of, to me, it's a little bit humbling. New Orleans to me represents one of maybe the last regional bastion of music left in this country where you have a regional sound, and you used to have that in every pocket of every sector of this country. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but I mean, are there places that you would like to go that you haven't yet gone in this country?
Just for personal reasons, I'm trying to get Dumpster Funk or Dr. Claw up to Alaska, just because I've been to every other state except that one. But
I heard it's a happening place. It definitely a happening place, no doubt about it.
I've heard of dope festivals up there. Like, I think Salmon Fest is one of them. I might have made that up, but I don't think.
The time you need to go is the time you need to go is June 21st, the summer solstice, when the sun is out 24 hours of the day.
Oh yeah, man, that kind of stuff trips me out. I've gotten close to that kind of. I want to call it weather, I guess, but
some kind of I mean,
that kind of circumstance. Yeah, it's totally just disorienting and weird. It's awesome.
How close are you to Khalif Neville?
Khalif's my little cousin. Him and my little sister are very tight. But I hang with Khalif. He comes to gigs like that, or when we play close to up by where he lives. And
that's Massachusetts. That's New England area. Dumpster Funk's up in New England. Yeah, go ahead.
Right. And he usually comes out to hang, and he sat in with us a couple times. I try to hang with him when we're together. You know what I mean? The distance thing makes that gap a reality. But whenever he's down here, we try to make it more than like classic family reunion and just everyone sees each other at Jazz Fest. But we try to keep it tighter than that. You know.
Can you explain me?
I just saw he put up.
Yeah.
I was just listening to some music he was making on the internet today. Try to keep in touch that kind of way, you know, I guess as well. But
because I mean, it's so interesting because, like, you know, I mean, his dad Charles was wearing Indian suits, you know, and Chief Jolly was telling those guys to come together, and you know, and the Neville brothers, their legacy and lineage is so deep, and I just wonder, when you, in your own mind's eye, obviously you want to be here now and stay in the moment and create and be and inspire peeps on the bandstand, but how do you want to continue to keep the legacy of the Neville family? I mean, I can't even keep track of everything. You know, there's so many of them, but there's certain ones like yourself who are cooking the groove. And I wonder what you feel most responsible, or maybe that's the wrong word, what you feel is most important to promote as we move forward in time here.
I mean, Dumpster Funk's definitely not the only family thing going on. Like, you know, my little cousin, well, like I said, Khalif's been making music. My little cousin Omari's band has been killing. Cyril's son.
Yeah.
They've been playing a lot around lately, and they've been crushing. The last few times I've seen them. And Ivan's brother Jason has been busy, and like my other cousin Charmaine still got her normal thing going on. Like there's still plenty of Nevilles to catch. We just probably get the Dumpster Funk gets to travel a little bit more probably, so we have that audience on us, I guess. But there's still definitely plenty of us floating around. There's no shortage just yet.
Would you say you're the? Is there a de facto leader of that group? Are you the leader of Dumpster Funk?
No, I mean we're a democracy, so our detriment at times.
So I mean, based on your experience at 13 with Porter and your dad and throwing away the set list, how much? I mean, do you play? Have you ever played the same song once or twice? Like when you go on, how formulaic are the Dumpster Funk live shows? Or
the Dumpster Funk?
Yeah.
Well, ironically enough, I'm usually charged up with writing the set list for Dumpster Funk.
Oh, really? Does it get thrown away as a grenade?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes I'm the first one to just be like, you know what, I see this. Sometimes I'll write a set list, and the first song will flip the first song.
Right.
Sometimes it makes sense why, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it's just us overthinking things. But my mentality on that is I rarely will we like play the same set list twice in a row. We'll at least switch out, rotate in and out of a couple songs, and have like some go-tos that we'll kind of stick to for a lot of gigs on a particular run,
Absolutely.
But we try to keep it fresh for us, and that's what makes it feel right for anybody who came to watch us play.
Do you get a chance to collaborate with Juan Pardo or Bo Dallas Jr.? Do you get a chance to collaborate with the Mardi Gras Indians that are cooking around there in New Orleans?
In certain random gig scenarios, we haven't recorded with Juan yet. Actually, you know what? We did. I think Juan was on this like documentary thing that we were working on called "Take Me to the River." That we actually recorded some stuff with him and all four Neville brothers and basically Dumpster Funk. But that was the only like recording we did with him. It's all other than that. It's been just live stuff, live family, and have some Indians and that kind of stuff related gigs.
Would you be able to? Could you talk about your exposure to the Mardi Gras Indians as a boy? Were they? How prevalent was it as part of your upbringing?
I mean, I remember seeing my Uncle Charles, like you mentioned, and at some of the gigs at Tips, like masking, and that was my most probably close-up contact, and other than that, just random street Indian stuff. But it was mostly just through family, like through those type settings. That was my contact with that.
Was your father? I mean, did he mask too?
I don't know. Not regularly. He probably did before, I bet, but it wasn't like a regular move for him.
It's fascinating stuff. I did want, before I let you go, I did want you to talk to the audience about, I did two really, really awesome interviews, just beautiful interviews with Charlie. And, he got pretty sick and tired of the bigotry and the racism of the South and got out of there. And, he was in Angola for a long time, but the guy was a ridiculous musician, and he was up in New York playing with the Jazzers, playing R&B and soul, and obviously playing with Aaron and all the cats, and I just wanted you to talk to the audience about the legacy of of your uncle Charles Neville?
I mean, Uncle Charlie was just a totally irreplaceable, like, well of knowledge. You know, he could teach you something about whatever you asked him about. Music, he was very heady and like learned and studied, and then just in life, he also had his perspective and outlook was just something to be absorbed and considered, because he was coming from a place of good with whatever he was telling you, and that was like a guarantee.
Can you give me an example? Can you give me an example?
Well, just like he'd encourage you in certain ways that others might not in certain times, but to just make you know that you're not crazy or alone or whatever. Like when I was a kid, I had gotten in some trouble, and I got a call. My dad told me, he's like, "Hey, your Uncle Charlie wants to talk to you." I'm like, all right. So I called him up, and he goes, "Yeah, you know, I just wanted to let you know, like, I don't really think you did anything wrong except get caught." which in the circumstance, that lesson was kind of what I needed to hear. It made me feel better about it. You know, it was just a little thing sometimes.
Well, I mean, that's like a Zen master kind of thing, because he's basically saying he's condoning whatever action you did. He's like, the only problem is you got caught.
Right. That, you know, and that's kind of the lesson in that is like, I don't know, some things are from a perspective. It's all about perspective sometimes or whatever, certain point of view. I don't know. There's a lot of ways to go with that one.
Ian, are you going to be coming through Arizona at all? I mean, I'd love to connect with you. Come catch a show. I don't know what your touring schedule is looking like.
The closest we're going to be to Arizona is Taos, New Mexico, that I saw in the immediate future. But
in Taos, you're going to be in Taos. I might have to. When is that going? When's that going to be?
That is in August 10th.
All right, well, maybe let's shoot for that. Let's see, August 10th. That'll be interesting. And, you know, either way, man, I'd love to do. I kind of short on time, but I would love to pick up our conversation in the near future. I love connecting with my peers and especially cats who not only had these born into these amazing family lineages, but also getting all sorts of sort of Zen trickster, Zen master sort of lessons. I mean, you gave like three of them that really I have to wrap my brain around today. I mean, the grenade, and then the guitar strings being cut, and then Charlie, Uncle Charlie, always a source for good, man. I mean, just such a source of light, and he went through a lot of shit. So I don't know. I'm a big fan of the Neville family, and I really thank you for being part of the program, man.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, anytime, bro.
All right, dude. Sure. Have a beautiful day, Ian.
All right, Jack. Take it easy.
Peace. Bye. The lineage of the Neville family continues with Ian Neville there. Beautiful conversation. The son of Art Neville, a guy who cut his guitar strings up and then gave him a brand new guitar. I guess the only thing is, the only problem is if you do something, don't get caught. That's it for the Jake Feinberg Show. We'll be back with General Chafari tomorrow that's it. Peace.
Come on now, all because when you trouble looking now, I want to tell you now, you can't go wrong. Yeah, come on, I say, trouble love. Trouble love.